Hey everyone, welcome to the Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Friday. It's April 4th. It is 2025. We have a 7-game baseball slate. We're going to talk about the slate for the night slate. I think it's more of a main slate than the early slate. FanDuel, DraftKings, more on the same page when it comes to this 7-game late slate. So using that as our main slate for today's podcast. What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. I took Thursday off. Did not play in the baseball streets. It was a good chance to do it. I mean, 3-game early slate, 2-game night slate. So just kind of enjoyed taking the day off. So what's up, chat? Richie, Yeezy, Derek, Dave. Yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Morning Grind on YouTube. I appreciate that. One way to support the podcast. Let's get into it and have some fun here. 7-game slate. What does my shirt say? Earn not given, rise volleyball. That is, I practice tonight, so my girls practice. So that's our slogan for our team is earn not given. So all right, we get started with the Dodgers and the Phillies. This game currently sitting at 8 total. Dodgers a 142 favorite. Yamamoto against Luzardo in this one. I mean, Yamamoto here pitching for the Dodgers. They go on the road. We get the Dodgers on the early games because, they're on the road here a little bit. So looking at Yamamoto in this spot, I mean, a good right-handed pitcher, ton of strikeout ability. Philly is definitely going to be a little bit tougher on right-handed pitching than they are on left-handed pitching. You know, they have Harper, they have Schwarber. Turner's good righty-righty. They added Max Kepler in the offseason, so that's another right-handed bat that they have in this lineup. So they're going to be tough against righties. Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos, like they're off to a really solid start this season as well. So I think looking at Yamamoto at 9K, he's in play. He's one of the better talented pitchers on this slate when we're just looking at pure talent. So I think he's in play. Not my favorite play on the slate, but I think he's definitely someone you could take some shots on. Going to the other side here, Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo is always someone that I absolutely love to play. He has a really unique skill set. He has a ton of strikeout ability, but he's facing the Dodgers. I mean, this is the best offense in baseball, bar none. So really hard for me to get excited about playing any pitcher. Luzardo has plenty of upside. We saw it in his first start this season against Washington. Went out, had 11 strikeouts, got hit a little bit, but when you strike out 11, you know you're going to get a lot of upside in that spot. So, I mean, facing bets, Teoscar Hernandez, like Ohtani, lefty, still very good. I mean, he has like a 228 ISO against left-handed pitching since the start of last season. So Ohtani is still really good. So it's just a really tough spot for Luzardo. If he's going to come in at like no ownership, I think you could definitely take some shots on him in large field tournaments. But overall, like single entry, 3-entry max stuff, I probably don't get to Luzardo today. Yeezy brought up an excellent point in chat. Freddie Freeman did go on the IR, but that probably means Kiki Hernandez is in the lineup, and Kiki, definitely good against left-handed pitching. Dodgers bats. We're going to have some really good bats on this slate, stack-wise. You can always stack the Dodgers. Love the fact that we get them early and not late. They're always stackable. Mookie Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, probably my two favorites. Will Smith had a lot of power against left-handed pitching last season, so don't sleep on him. I could see prioritizing Will Smith over like Mookie if you want to make your Dodgers stack different. But Dodgers very much in play. Not my favorite stack, but they're always a team that's capable of, big games. And going to the other side of this game too, I mean, the Phillies are always in play as well. Last season with Yamamoto, he kind of was reverse splitsy. He was really good against lefties. He gave up more power, higher WOBA to righties, more hard contact to righties. His barrel rate was much higher against righties. So he was kind of reverse splitsy, but Harper and Schwarber are not your typical left-handed hitters. They always have upside. Like I said, Nick Castellanos has started the season off super hot. So he's someone that he's not hitting for a ton of power, but I mean, he's just getting on base at a very high clip. I don't know if he's cheap enough for Yamamoto. That's the problem with both of these teams. They're both really good offenses facing, above average pitchers. And they're not cheap. So Will Smith, I didn't realize Will Smith's DraftKings price is 4,400. So I have a lot more interest in Will Smith than I originally thought I did. So someone in chat before we started was asking me to talk a little bit more FanDuel. Keep getting this press and hold to verify I'm a human on FanDuel and can't get FanDuel to come up for me. It keeps telling me to try again. It might be I have ad blockers on my computer. It might be that. But I'm trying to talk FanDuel for that person that posted in chat. I am trying to talk FanDuel. I'm trying to get logged in to talk more FanDuel. And again, even though the podcast isn't on RotoGrinders anymore, I haven't changed my philosophy of the podcast. It's still a first look. I'm trying to just break down the slate in general, not trying to talk too much specific, this plays in play on this site and this plays in play on that site. It's just more of breaking everything down. So I did get FanDuel logged in. Will Smith 3,200. That price tag on Will Smith on FanDuel and DraftKings is very enticing with how much power he had against lefties last year. So Will Smith and Tommy Edman are both pretty cheap on FanDuel. To talk a little FanDuel pricing as well. So if FanDuel wants to sponsor the podcast, I'll talk about them all the time. They can hit me up. They know how to get a hold of me. Arizona at Washington is where we go next. This game is currently at 8.5, and the Diamondbacks are a 142 favorite. We got Irvin and my boy Fayette. Brandon Fayette is very interesting pitcher because you never know what you're going to get out of this guy. And I feel like I said this all of last season. He doesn't have a huge strikeout rate to lefties, kind of struggles a little bit more with lefties than he does righties, but he has a ton of upside against very right-handed heavy lineups. Problem is Washington should have enough lefties in here. Abrams, James Wood, Nathan Lowe. The catcher Ruiz is a switch hitter. Josh Bell. So I think there's enough lefties for me on Fayette to stay away from him in this spot. You really want him against right-handed heavy teams. 29% Ks against righties last year, 19.7% against lefties, 350 WOBA against lefties, 279 WOBA against righties. All the stats kind of prefer left-handed hitters against him and for him to face more right-handed hitters. So unless he gets a very right-handed heavy lineup today, I don't think I could do it. Jake Irvin on the other side of this game, this pitching rotation is not the best. This lineup is not the best. This pitching rotation is not the best. Jake Irvin is a below-average strikeout pitcher. Gives up a lot of hard contact, really struggles with left-handed power bats. For all those reasons, I don't want to play him today. I want to play guys like Carroll. I want to play guys like Josh Naylor, who has, I will say, Josh Naylor, I can't speak. I've been yelling for the last hour and a half. We had a very, long... And we have a tournament coming up, so my voice is I'm all over the place. But Josh Naylor, his power has been down a little bit. We kind of expect that to get better. Corbin Carroll, Marte, all this to say I'm not playing Jake Irvin. I like Arizona. I think they're very much in play here against him. Prefer the lefties. He's still not a big strikeout pitcher, so I don't mind getting like Gurriel and Grichuk in there if they're batting in the lineup. Suarez is just hitting everything over the fence. So if you're stacking Arizona, I would definitely have Suarez. What does he have? 5 home runs already, right? I think that's where he's at. He's hit 5 home runs. Going to the other side, the Washington side. Like I said, I prefer the lefties. I don't think I would full stack this team. The one guy that I want to point out in this spot is James Wood. He has a bunch of power. He's a huge strikeout guy. And he should benefit from a guy like Fayette who doesn't strike out very many lefties. So I think this is an excellent spot for Wood. He's 4,800. His price should be way down, or his ownership should be way down in this spot. So I think James Wood is an excellent candidate to hit a home run in this game. So I like his upside for sure. Yeah, Yahoo is fun. I mean, I don't play baseball on Yahoo. I play football on Yahoo. And really quick, just to give some FanDuel thoughts as far as pricing is concerned. Naylor's 3,100. James Wood is way cheaper on FanDuel. I like that little 3-man right there on FanDuel of Abrams, Wood, Naylor, all under 3,300. That could be a really interesting 3-man stack. But it looks like, I mean, Suarez and Carroll are priced up a little bit on the Arizona side. I said Naylor. I meant Abrams and Wood 2-man, and then Naylor, Suarez, Carroll 3-man. As far as like cheap bats, nothing really standing out to me too much on FanDuel for this one. All right, we got Miami at Atlanta. Atlanta, what a start for the Atlanta Braves. What a start for the Atlanta Braves. I think I read today that no one has ever started 0-7 and made the playoffs. So they got a lot of work to do. Obviously, they're in a good spot here, getting a series against Miami to get back on track. 7.5 total. The Braves, a 230 favorite. We got Schwallenbach against Meyer. Going to Max Meyer here first. He pitched better than I thought he would in his first start of the season against Pittsburgh. He had some really decent strikeout stuff in that game. And I mean, he definitely a pitcher last season. We saw enough of Max Meyer last year to kind of get an idea. He really struggled with hard contact, gave up a lot of power last season. That definitely scares me against an Atlanta team. Atlanta's really struggling right now. And if you're playing like MME 20 entry or like 150, I think I'd play a little bit of Max Meyer today. With the way the Atlanta Braves are struggling to start the season, it's a rough go for them right now. So I don't think it's crazy to take some shots on Meyer. He has strikeout ability. He just gets hit hard. These guys are off right now. I do think like this is a chance where like if you're MMEing, you stack Atlanta a little bit. Don't fade Atlanta. That's not the smart play. But if you're playing a bunch of teams, I think you take some shots. He has enough strikeout ability that I think you could take it. Like Derek said, Atlanta just faced San Diego and the Dodgers. I mean, that's a tough road to start your season. But I think Meyer has enough strikeout upside to at least make him in play for large field tournaments today. With that said, home opener, let's go Braves. I definitely like this stack today. They're going to get going. I mean, Austin Riley came out in the media and like he was talking about how he needs to do better and stuff. So we'll talk about the bats in a second. I kind of skipped over Schwallenbach here. And that is not on purpose because he is one of my favorite pitchers on the slate today. Spencer Schwallenbach, we know he has plenty of strikeout ability. The Marlins lineup, I think, is a little bit better than we anticipated to start the season, but I don't think they're good. I think they're still a bottom 5 offense. Schwallenbach is expensive. he had a really solid game against a really tough San Diego lineup. Expect his strikeouts to come back up here. Didn't give up any barrels against the Padres. I think that's a really good note. And his whiff rate and swinging strike rate was still really close to last year. All his stuff looked really good. I mean, so I think this is a really good spot for him. I think he's one of the top pitchers on the slate today. And if the weather is good, I have no issues being overweight on Schwallenbach. No interest in the Miami Bats. He's a really good pitcher. I mean, if you're going to play anybody, I think it's like Conine, maybe Stowers. I feel like they're hitting pretty well. I haven't looked at a lot of like this season stats. I kind of, stay way more. So, I mean, if you don't believe in Schwallenbach and you believe in Miami playing okay, I think you look at like Edward, Stowers, Conine. I like the Braves a lot. I think the Braves are in an excellent spot to break the slate. Excuse me. Miami's bullpen doesn't project to be a top end bullpen. We know that this offense is capable of putting up crooked numbers. The bottom half of this lineup is still somewhat scary. With the injuries they have, and now Profar's out for a while. Murphy's still on the IL. Like, this isn't as good as the Atlanta lineup will be in, 2 months? So I really wish they would start, like, hit Harris leadoff, even though he started, like, atrociously bad to start the season. But I really wish they'd start Harris leadoff. But Atlanta is a stack that I probably end up overweight on, even though, like, all those things I said about Meyer, if they continue to swing and miss a lot, he has a ton of upside, and I don't take that back. I just think if Atlanta starts hitting, they're going to hit hard, and they have upside to break the slate. So one of those situations that I think you can kind of play both sides of in tournaments. As far as the bats on FanDuel, Miami doesn't give you as much discount on FanDuel, so they would be just a contrarian stack for me over there. But I think Atlanta is priced really nice for the slow start. Riley 3,400, Olsen 3,300. If Albies hits leadoff, he's 3,300. So you should have no issues. If Harris hits leadoff, he's 2,900. So you should have no issues stacking Atlanta at these prices over there on FanDuel and still getting a really, really solid pitcher. Baltimore at Kansas City. 8.5 total. The Royals a slight favorite here. We got Lugo and Kramer facing off against each other here. What a game. This game should explode if the weather holds off. Like, I'm really interested to see what Roth has to say in this game. I mean, everything I read, like, there's a potential rain, but there's potential really good hitting conditions. So I'll definitely be interested what Kevin Roth has to say about this one. But starting here with Kramer first. I mean, he's an average strikeout pitcher that is really good against right-handed bats, and I say really good. He's better than he is against left-handed for sure. And this lineup is still pretty right-handed heavy. Bobby Witt, Perez, India. I mean, Pasquantino. Massey has a little bit of power, so I could see that. The bottom half of this lineup is still really bad. Kansas City bottom half is really, really bad. Kramer 7,500. I don't think we have like any excellent cheap pitcher today. I think for a slate like this, pitching is like kind of tight for a 7-gamer. I mean, I don't think it's the craziest idea to take some tournament shots on Kramer. There is a pitcher that I like in this range on DraftKings. Let's look at FanDuel pricing for pitching. Yeah, I mean, Kramer is still close enough to the guy that I like. So we'll talk about him in a few minutes. But other side, Seth Lugo. I can't tell you if I played Seth Lugo at all last year. Maybe. He struggled big time in his first start of the season with command. Never anything that you want to see. I think he had like 3 or 4 walks, and now he gets a really tough lineup here with Baltimore. Lugo's not a big strikeout guy to begin with, so if he's struggling with command, it could be a really bad day for him. So I have way more interest in the Baltimore Bats than I do in Seth Lugo today. They're another team that I'm looking at that I want to have some exposure here to on this one. Starting here with the Bats. Rutschman, obviously a great play at catcher if you want to spend up at catcher. Everything points to Gunnar Henderson expected to be activated and play on Friday. If he's in there, good to go. I'm good with taking some shots on him. As expensive as he is, I'm still good with it. O'Neill, Mullins is cheap. If Holiday's in there, he's somewhat cheap. So Baltimore, definitely a stack that I'll have some exposure to on today's slate. On the other side here, the Kansas City Bats, I definitely prefer left-handed hitters against Kramer. Like I said, he is. I'd put him at like really close to above average against righties. He doesn't strike them out at a huge clip, but he does a great job of limiting power. Doesn't get barreled a ton against righties. So I think if you're picking on Kramer, it's the lefties in this lineup. Pasquantino would be my favorite. On DraftKings, I think Salvador Perez is still priced fair enough that you could potentially take some shots on him. But Pasquantino, and listen, I'm never going to say don't take shots on Bobby Witt, depending on how many lineups you're playing. But I definitely prefer the lefties for Kansas City over the righties. Watch the weather in this game. It matters. Tampa Bay at Texas, taking on the Rangers, 8.5 total here. The Rangers at 125 favorite. Zach Little against Tyler Molly Littell. I like calling him Little though. We're a week and a half into the season. I had someone tell me I said a name wrong on the YouTube comments, and Roker, right? He hit a home run. I can't change calling him until he doesn't hit home runs. Anyway, Zach Littell in this spot. The pitching slate again is not the best, right? That's where we're at. He came out firing in that first start this season against the Rockies, though. The Rockies lineup, they might have the worst lineup in baseball. And I mean, Texas lineup is not bad at all. I think this is going to be a little bit tougher spot. And by a little bit, I think it's going to be a lot tougher spot for him. Adding Jock Peterson gives them another lefty in this lineup, which is good. Littell last season was kind of splits neutral. Hittable on both sides of the plate. Gives up a lot of hard contact to lefty power bats, but gives up more barrels to righties. So I think like he's a product of like facing Colorado his first time out, getting a huge price increase because of the first time out. On both sides. I mean, he's 9,700 on FanDuel too. So so I'm on the fence. I think if you want to take some shots in MME, you can. I mean, the one thing that I always say about him is I feel like they're very quick to pull him. Just in general. So other side here, Tyler Mahle in our lives still. I mean, last season he pitched a little bit, right? He didn't pitch a ton last year. Really struggled in his first start this season. I don't even know. I don't know if he started that game against Boston. I think he worked out of the bullpen, right? Yeah, I don't know. He struggled with command big time in that spot against my Sox. I don't remember watching that game. Maybe I was doing something. Anyway, I don't want to play Tyler Mahle. I don't believe in the talent at all. I think he's a very hittable pitcher. So I think this is a spot we're going to use Tampa as value if they're still cheap. I haven't looked. Let's check it out. Looks like they're still somewhat cheap. Magnum 3,800. Arnada 3,400. Missner still 2,800. So I think we're going to use Tampa today in this spot against Tyler Mahle. I Brandon Lau's off to a scorching start, and he's still only 4,400 on DraftKings. So yeah, for me, no Molly. I like Tampa's cheap bets. I like Tampa in general. I think you could definitely stack this team up. I'll probably use them more as a secondary stack than I'll use them as a full stack. But it's like we were always like, when you get Tampa out of Tampa. Well, now that they're not playing in the Dome anymore, we see them having a lot more production to start the season. I'm shocked. So the Texas bats, like I said, Littell last season, he definitely struggled with more lefty power. So obviously a guy like Seager, Peterson, high up on the list today. Langford has a lot of upside. He's still somewhat cheap. Looking at a Texas stack on DraftKings, they're still very cheap. So I think this game could have some runs. So I think this is one of the games you definitely want to get some exposure to the bats, whether you be mini stacking or off. But you have to kind of think that the Texas offense is going to get going too. We talked about Atlanta offense. I know Langford's had a couple good games. I know Peterson is off to a really cold start. But you have to think this offense is going to get going. Corey Seager is going to get going. So let's see what happens here with Texas. And Texas, didn't they have they had Boston, Cincinnati. You would expect them to do better than they have for sure. All right, we got Cincinnati at Milwaukee. 8 total in this game. Pick'em game, Nick Martinez going up against Tyler Alexander, and we have a pick'em game. Maybe it has something to do with like the Cincinnati Reds not scoring any runs for 3 straight days. Probably has a little bit to do with it. Starting with Nick Martinez first. Nick Martinez still in our lives. This is a guy we picked on a lot last season. He didn't get like shelled, but he throws a lot of strikes and he doesn't miss a lot of bats. Doesn't get barreled a ton. But man, watching the Giants kind of tee off on him, I think I'm more interested in playing Milwaukee than I am in playing Nick Anderson. So I don't expect to have a lot, if any. Nick Martinez. I said Nick Anderson. Sup? If you're an Orlando Magic truther, you know who Nick Anderson is. Going to the other side here. See that stash for Tyler Alexander when you click on his like profile picture, but he's more of a reliever. I don't think he'll go very deep here. Pitched like 5 days ago. He threw 47 pitches. I could see him maybe going 60, 65. He's not stretched out. He's not a huge strikeout pitcher. We saw him a lot last year. Really struggles with right-handed power bats. Not a huge strikeout guy. Cincinnati is ice cold right now. They're ice cold. So there's that. But I don't think I could do it at 6K, probably only getting 60 pitches. I think I'd rather spend down on a bat, get some upside at pitcher, or take a guy like Meyer, who I know has some strikeout upside. Bats for me on the Cincinnati side, Matt McLean is one of my favorite hitters on the entire slate. I think he'll get it going. Ellie De La Cruz, I think, will get going. It's early in the season. You don't want to look at small sample sizes too much. Outside of those two guys, guys like Spencer Steer, we know he has some power. Candelario has a little bit of power. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Oh, shouldn't oh no, he got hurt. That's right. I was gonna say Hayes, but he's hurt right now. Yeah. We'll have to see. Blake Dunn could potentially play outfield in this spot. He's really cheap, but I like Cincinnati. I think this is a spot you're going to see a lot of bullpen, and Milwaukee's bullpen is not as good as they once were. Not like a song. when like Martinez is very hittable. So looking at Milwaukee, I feel like I stacked this team way too much last year and loved every second of it. So I'll definitely get some exposure here till Milwaukee. You got to pay up for Yelich. You got to pay up for Jackson, Churio. But I still want to. Mitchell, 3,300 might be one of the most underpriced hitters on the slate for his upside. I know he's kind of cold too, but it's Nick Martinez. It's the Cincinnati bullpen. I haven't looked at bullpen rankings yet for this year as far as like what bullpens are doing. I usually give it a few weeks, but I know Cincinnati came into the season with one of the lower end bullpens. So projected and projection wise and stuff. So I like Milwaukee here more than I like Martinez. And yeah, that Mitchell price is nice. I don't like a lot of pitchers on the slate. I don't know if I've said that already. I think I've said that many times. So pitching is very uncomfortable. It'd be really interesting to see what we're looking at ownership-wise today. Cleveland at LA is where we finish it off here. We got Williams and Soriano facing off against each other. So we'll start here with Gavin Williams. Gets an LA lineup that outside of Mike Trout is not the best lineup in the world. I mean, Soler has some upside. Ward is a good hitter. Ohapi is a good hitter. But, I mean, this team, you want to talk about teams that are ice cold? I think they have one of the lowest ISOs against right-handed pitching to start the season. I saw that stat when I was looking the other day. Problem is, like, it's Gavin Williams. What type of upside are we looking at with Williams is the problem. I mean, he sat around 24% last year, gave up a lot of hard contact, swinging strike rate below average, whiff rate below average. There was a lot of reports about him in spring training and how he just looked different. So maybe that's where okay. I'm playing a little bit of Gavin Williams today, regardless, because of the pitching slate that we have today. But I don't feel good about it. I don't think anyone should feel good about it, but I think we have to take some shots on him because of the pitching that we have today. So it's kind of where I'm at on Williams. I like a lot what we saw from Gavin Williams in spring training when I was looking at his numbers. So there's always that. Jose Soriano, if you listened to the podcast last year, you know that I absolutely love this guy. My biggest concern with him is he is facing a ton of lefties. He is way better against righties than he is against lefties. Like, it is a huge difference. Soriano goes out and he tries to generate a ton of ground balls. He has strikeout pitches. He has some upside. So I think you have to take some shots on him today. What we're noticing at the start of the season so far is the bottom half of the Cleveland lineup is going to strike out a lot more than we're used to. Lane Thomas, Bo Naylor, Sheeman, Manzardo's a strikeout guy. So we're going to get a lot more strikeouts at the bottom half of this lineup than we have in years past. You know, you're going to have Jose Ramirez, Carlos Santana, Steven Kwan, you know, those guys that are going to put the ball in play. But I mean, if you attack the bottom half of this lineup, there's a ton of strikeout ability and ton of strikeout upside. So I think Soriano is in play. I have no idea who my SP2 is going to be. I can tell you right now, Schwallenbach is probably going to be my highest owned pitcher. I'm going to probably play him on 4 of 5, maybe even 5 of 5 out of the 5 teams that I build. I'm going to play a lot of him today. I think he's clear-cut top pitcher on the slate. But I think both of these pitchers are very capable of good games. So as far as the Cleveland bats, like I said, when Soriano struggles, it's typically lefties. You have to target fly ball hitters against him because he is such a big ground ball guy. That is where Manzardo comes in. Manzardo's a huge fly ball hitter. So I think that's the guy that you're targeting here. But I mean, Soriano, 60% ground balls and only 16% fly balls all of last season. So, yeah, I mean, I think you have to target fly ball guys against him. That's where you're going to beat him. Dominated the White Sox first time out. Shocking. White Sox, not great. So for me on Cleveland, it's Manzardo, one off, maybe Ramirez, one off. I'm not stacking here. I mean, you could with all the lefties they have in this lineup, Soriano, but they hit the ball on the ground a lot and they strike out a lot. So not my favorite team. And then Williams, like I said, he might be my favorite SP2 today, and I don't feel great about it. Said he had great stuff in spring. This is a lineup that's just this lineup is so bad. This lineup is very beatable. All right, I'm looking it up. I can't remember, but let's look really quick. I'm pretty sure they have the lowest ISO in baseball to start the season. Team stats. The pitcher is right-handed. Let's see. Versus right-handed pitching to start the season. The Angels have an 88 ISO. 26. Houston is dead last. Man, Houston, what an awful start for Houston. So the Angels so far have 2 home runs against right-handed pitching this season. I think it's Trout and Ohapi, if I remember correctly. Really, really slow start for the Angels this year. But yeah, I mean, you could always take shots on Mike Trout. Taylor Ward's a good hitter. Ohapi, a catcher. Yeah, I like the pitchers way more than I like the hitters in this game. I think this is going to be one of the lower scoring games on the slate. So probably be the highest scoring game on the slate. All right, let's play the morning grind game. I appreciate everyone being here. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button over there on the Morning Grind YouTube page. That helps support the show. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And I like doing this. I don't get paid to do this anymore, so it's nice just to talk baseball. I love talking baseball. So, all right, morning grind game. I stalled DraftKings pricing and scoring for the morning grind game as always under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. I think I have to go to Williams in this spot. I don't really. I mean, Meyer is the other guy that I think that has the potential to get there, but I'm gonna go Gavin Williams today. Over 8K to score under 15. My bust today. I will say, as we got through the slate, going back to like Luzardo and Yamamoto, they have a lot more tournament appeal than they did when we were breaking down that game. But my bust today is going to be. I'm going to go Littell against Texas. I think Texas is going to get going here. I think Littell is going to struggle, and he's always a guy that can get yanked out early. So I'm going to go Zach Littell. All right, over 4K to hit a home run today. Going back to an early game, I got James Wood to hit a home run today. Like this spot for him a lot. Under 4K to score 10 DK points. I'm going to go to the Tampa Bay Rays. Give me Jack Magnum or Jake. Jake. I don't know why I wrote down Jake too as I was writing it. I don't know why I said Jack, but stack to score 6 or more runs. Pitcher on FanDuel. Schwallenbach is my best pitcher on FanDuel. He's the guy that I would build around. And we have plenty of value. I don't think you'll have any issues. My favorite FanDuel pitcher today would be Spencer Schwallenbach. He's my favorite pitcher on the slate, regardless of the site. He's my favorite pitcher on the slate. And yeah, he's probably going to be the chalkiest pitcher on the slate, but I don't care. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Give me Atlanta Braves. Like the Atlanta Braves. I have not done a 3-pick parlay yet. Usually I do them before the show. There's not any props up. There's never any props up when I do the show. There's some props up for the early games, but all right, baseball. Let's see. All right, let's put together a 3-pick parlay. We're gonna put together the 3-pick parlay on the show as we're doing this today. We're gonna go to Cleveland and the Angels. First 5 under 3.5 runs in the first 5 innings. And then we're going to go to the Atlanta-Miami game. I know they've been ice cold, but we're going to take Atlanta over 4.5 runs. And we'll finish it off with I want to say Tampa's run line, but what is it? I'm looking at the Tampa run line. Let's take Tampa over 3.5. So we built this on the fly, but I'm going to run it out, putting it in right now. It's plus 449. So, Guardians and Angels. Oh, hold on. I hit over 3.5 in the Guardians Angels first 5 innings. So hold on. I got to go back and fix that. First 5 innings, total runs under. That bumped it up big time. All right. So 3-bet parlay, morning grind. Over 4.5 Atlanta runs. Over 3.5 Tampa runs. Under 3.5 first 5 total inning runs in the Guardians Angels game. It comes out to be plus 573. That will make up for our cold streak. Man, I've been cold on the 3-pick parlays, right? No shame. I'm always going to be honest. Glad that I hit the 10x on the prize pick one that I tweeted out the other day. So if you're not already, make sure you're following me on Twitter as well at Stevietpfl. And when I have player props and stuff, I'm not doing MLB betting for any site this year. So like if I like something, I've just been tweeting it out. So yeah, make sure you're following me. That's gonna wrap it up. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend and enjoys baseball all weekend. We are back next week. I don't know what the schedule for the podcast will be next week. I might do a Monday podcast because if I remember correctly, there was a bunch of games on Monday and the slate looked juicy. So might do a Monday show this week. I usually will take Monday shows off because I'm so exhausted from NASCAR over the weekend. So I'll definitely be back Tuesday. Looks like there's a good slate Wednesday. Probably take Thursday off again next week. The slate looks very split up. So probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday for the morning grind next week. Appreciate everyone. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, support the show, download it on the podcast feeds, and I'll see you guys next week.